You're listening to Keith Sports News. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to KSN episode 20. That's right, already episode 20. The first episode was about 2.5 months ago. I started, I believe, in around the holidays, Christmas holidays, mid-December. It's already March. Yep, it is the first week of March. All right. So, last episode, I talked about, really, the first episode of me talking about professional wrestling, pro wrestling, mainly the WWE. And I'm going to talk more about it because the big story that happened over the weekend was in the WWE. All right. So, if you are not a fan of pro wrestling, then this episode isn't for you. Okay. And I know it's a scripted organization, but these wrestlers are like athletes, so it is kind of like a sport, except it's scripted. All right, so if you don't like that, then this isn't for you. But I do like it sometimes, so I will talk about it. All right. Whew. It was the Elimination Chamber. That's right. Man. So, I'm going to talk about what I saw. Alright? Because I did told you guys that I will watch mainly the men's Elimination Chamber match. Alright? Because I was intrigued. I saw before we get to that, alright, so the Elimination Chamber event was held in Toronto. It was at Rogers Center, home of the Toronto Blue Jays. And that venue has hosted 2 WrestleManias. But back then, they called it the Sky Dome. Same venue, different name, okay? So, it's cool that WWE is having more of their big events outside of the USA. All right, so this was probably the biggest Elimination Chamber event in history, I think. So, I didn't watch it live, because I don't have to watch it live. It's on Peacock for those that live in the USA. It's on Netflix for viewers outside of the USA. And that's the best part about these streaming apps. You don't have to watch it live. You can watch it on demand at any time. Okay? So, because during that time, my main channel, I premiered my 2000th video. So for those of you that watched either while it was premiering or as an archive, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So yeah, that's what I was watching. I was watching my 2000 video while it was premiering, okay? So, in the middle of the night, I decided to tune in and watch it on Peacock, alright? And sometimes I watched it by myself, okay? Sometimes I like to talk to myself while I'm watching sporting events, mainly pro wrestling. Do you do that sometimes if you're watching a big event by yourself and you're talking to yourself out loud? You're kind of just giving your thoughts and opinions as you watch the event, or you're predicting what's going to happen. I do that sometimes. It's like I'm recording a reaction video, but there isn't a reaction video, you know. Um, See, you can't really do reactions to the WWE. You can't show video because they will immediately block your reaction video if you try to do that. And I believe they'll still block your video if you just play sound. Like, they are that strict. It is what it is, but at least I can talk about it, so that's what I'm going to do. Okay. But yeah, that's what I was doing. I was talking to myself while I was watching 2 matches. Well, I really wanted to see one match. The problem with Peacock, listen, I love Peacock. It's really like the only streaming app that I use a lot, okay? The only thing I don't like about Peacock is when you want to watch an old or a previously recorded pro wrestling event, meaning, you know, the Elimination Chamber has ended. You want to watch the replay or as archive, right? You can do that to any pro wrestling show for WWE, WCW, ECW. They got all of them, except Netflix has Monday Night Raw. So, but on Peacock, alright, do y'all remember the old WWE network before they moved to Peacock? I do. Yes, I actually do, because I was a big fan at the time of the product. Okay? I remember when we first got the WWE network. Okay? Peacock didn't exist. Okay? And the cool thing about the WWE network is when you watch an old episode of whatever, you get at the you see the video, you see the title, the description of that show, and when you scroll down at the bottom of the screen, they'll have chapters, kind of like when you watch a YouTube video, you see timestamps in the description. They're also known as chapters. So at the bottom of the screen, you have these chapters of what happened throughout the show, which match you want to see. You know, for example, the first match was The Big Show versus Mark Henry. The main event was Kane versus Batista, something like that, okay? And you get to click on it instead of just waiting to see the certain match that you're looking for. You get to click on that chapter, and then boom, it takes you either to the match or to the entrance. I think, you gotta have the entrance because that's part of the match, right? Although WWE's YouTube channel, they also have a secondary YouTube channel called WWE Vault, meaning they upload a whole bunch of full matches and shows from the old days. Sometimes when they upload a full match video on their YouTube channel, sometimes they include the entrances, sometimes they don't. They should always include the entrances. Say you got, 2 guys that their entrance is not that great, it's just whatever. Okay, you can still include the entrances in the video, you know? Like, okay, there are guys that have a fantastic entrance. In my opinion, the greatest entrance is The Undertaker. You gotta have his entrance included in the video. If not, then what the heck? Why? You're gonna have to find the entrance on Peacock, you know what I'm saying? And the problem with Peacock, like I said, is they don't have chapters. They don't have chapters. But the old WWE Network, before it was on Peacock, they have chapters of the matches throughout the event. So instead of finding it yourself, you get to click on that chapter, and then it takes you right to the entrances / the match. Peacock doesn't have that. So I have to like try and guess what timestamp to fast forward to, because I don't want to watch the whole event. I'm mainly here to watch the main event, the men's chamber match. So the event was about 3.5 hours. There was only 4 matches for 3.5 hours, but there were 2 chamber matches, the women and the men, and there's 6 competitors in those matches. So 6 entrances. That takes quite a bit of time. The chamber matches take a lot of time. Okay, it's about probably a total of an hour. So 2 chamber matches. That's like 2 hours, and then plus the 2 other big matches. So, anyways, sorry if I sound like I'm all over the place. So I had to go find the time, guess the timestamp to fast forward to, and when I hit play, it was playing the end of the Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, no disqualification, no holds barred, unsanctioned, whatever you call match, hardcore match, I guess. Yeah, I saw the end of that match, and those 2 guys are from Canada. Okay, so I saw the end of it, and it was pretty crazy. It was crazy. And man, when's the last time the WWE has had a match like that? That kind of match. Because they had that more often in the old days, back when it wasn't PG. So are we, I know we're in a new era. Some people call it the Netflix era because of Monday Night Raw, but Friday Night SmackDown, for the past 5 years, it was on Fox until a couple of months ago. It went back to the USA Network, okay? So I saw the end of the Kevin Owens Sami Zayn match. It was pretty crazy. And Kevin won. I guess Kevin was the heel. Because, when the referee counted the 1, 2, 3, the crowd didn't really have much of a reaction. So that means Sammy was the good guy. Kevin was the bad guy. Okay? So also they showed some highlights during the post game show, or the aftermath show, whatever they call it. Okay? And now the main event, the men's chamber match. Okay? Elimination chamber match is a pretty cool match. I've seen quite a bit. WWE's YouTube channel, before the Elimination Chamber event, throughout the week, they were live streaming old Elimination Chamber matches, and I was watching quite a bit of them. Yeah. So there were 6 guys in it. Okay. They were, I'm not going to name the names in particular order, but the guys that were in the match were Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, Damian Priest, CM Punk, Logan Paul, and the guy who's in the cover, or the poster, John Cena. Okay? So I gotta be honest. John Cena is the main reason why I watched this match. It's funny because I've never really liked Cena in the WWE because of his stale character. Okay? But since this is his final year in the WWE, his farewell tour, okay, let's see how a 47-and-a-half-year-old Cena can perform. Okay? Because the older you get, it's harder to be an athlete, obviously, for whatever sport. So, CM Punk is also another reason why I tuned in. Because my prediction for the Royal Rumble was a month ago. I had CM Punk winning the Rumble match. So I'm like, in my prediction in the last episode, I said the final two guys will be John Cena and CM Punk. And that's what happened. Yep, those were the final two guys in that match. The guy who got eliminated first was Drew McIntyre. I thought that was embarrassing. Drew McIntyre got eliminated first. I didn't like that. You know, McIntyre, in 2020, that was his year. 2020 was McIntyre's year, but unfortunately, it was during the COVID pandemic year. Okay, so in January was the Royal Rumble. He won the Rumble that year. Crowd went crazy. WrestleMania was in April, but that was right after COVID shut down the world, you know? So I kind of feel bad for McIntyre. He never had his WrestleMania moment in front of a live crowd, you know? So I'm like, I was hoping either CM Punk or Drew McIntyre would win the Royal Rumble. If not, then okay, maybe the Chamber. Because CM Punk, yeah, he had some WrestleMania big matches, but he never really had his WrestleMania moment as well. Last year, Cody Rhodes had his WrestleMania moment. So, somebody has to win the Chamber match. And I knew it wasn't going to be Logan Paul. Logan Paul was like the last guy I would pick to win the Chamber match. However, someone picked Logan Paul to win the Chamber match in his prediction. You know who it was? Bully Ray from Busted Open, the podcast on SiriusXM. He just straight up said, Logan Paul's gonna win. Oh, I'm like, you gotta be joking, right? You know? Yeah. Let me look up the Wikipedia. I forgot who eliminated who. I know that Drew McIntyre was first to get eliminated. After him. Okay, so McIntyre got eliminated by Damian Priest. Then Damian Priest got eliminated by Logan Paul. Then Logan Paul got eliminated by CM Punk. Then Seth freaking Rollins got eliminated by CM Punk. So CM Punk eliminated two guys back to back. And now the final two were CM Punk and John Cena. And I knew that was going to be the final two. I predicted that because they had a pretty big rivalry over 10 years ago, if y'all remember that. Mainly 2011. They had a huge match at Money in the Bank in CM Punk's hometown in Chicago, Illinois. The crowd was crazy. So, the match was 32 minutes and 40 seconds. Okay? And when it came down to Cena and Punk, I'm like, dang, I don't really know who's going to win. Did I made my prediction on who would win in the last episode? I believe I did, and I think I said Cena would win because he's obviously, you know, the bigger star because of his history, and it's his final year. Although CM Punk, he's getting kind of old too. He's only a few years younger than Cena, but he's what, like 44, 45? You know, he's getting up there too. So, John Cena, the weird thing about him, you know how he usually wears the They call it the jorts, the jean shorts. And he wore these white shoes. That looked weird. He normally doesn't wear white shoes. He usually wears the dark shoes, you know. Um, and those jean shorts that he wore look the same jean shorts that he wore back in 2018 when he faced The Undertaker at WrestleMania 34. And I believe he also was wearing the same exact belt. I'm like, what the heck? Is that his favorite pair of jean shorts ever? But John Cena and CM Punk, they look really good for their age. Um, Not as good as when they were in their prime, when they were in their, you know, late 20s, early 30s. You notice that John Cena's hair, he's got like, he's like kind of balding in the middle or the back of his head. You know, he usually, in his prime, he usually has that buzz cut look, you know, and then like when he stopped becoming a full-time wrestler, he got into, I guess, the Hollywood movie business, and then he kind of like, he had like a different hairstyle look, you know. So John Cena, he did his finishing move, I believe, 2 times on CM Punk, and Punk kicked out twice. That was surprising. So after Seth Rollins got eliminated, it came down to CM Punk and John Cena. And John Cena was doing his submission move on CM Punk, the STF. And then CM Punk reversed it into his submission move. I forgot the name of his submission move. His finisher is called a GTS. CM Punk's finisher, it stands for go to sleep. Okay? Go to sleep. That's kind of funny. And it's just kind of cool seeing these two guys as the final 2 guys because of their history from the past, their rivalry, you know. So, for those of you that saw the match, the ending, CM Punk looked like he was passing out to the STF after Seth Rollins did the curb stomp to CM Punk after Rollins got eliminated. And I was like, "What? I thought Seth Rollins has left the chamber, because once you're eliminated, you have to get out. You have to go back to the locker room." But nope, Seth Rollins was still in the chamber. He gave CM Punk the curb stomp, and then John Cena put CM Punk in the submission, the STF, and then Punk passed out. And John Cena is the winner of the 2025 Elimination Chamber match. But what happened after he won was crazy. Crazy. I kept watching, because, you know, why not? It was the last match of the show, because sometimes you might see some surprises, and boy, oh boy, we did. After John Cena won, Cody Rhodes came out. Because Cody Rhodes is a champ, the winner of the chamber match is going to face Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, meaning it's official. John Cena versus Cody Rhodes for the Undisputed Championship at WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas. So, I believe he was gonna, they're gonna shake hands, right? Like, okay, here we go. This is our big match, you know? And usually, Cody Rhodes, he would dress up when he's not wrestling. Some guys do that. Ric Flair usually dresses up when he's not wrestling. You know, there's some guys are like that. Cody Rhodes does that. Okay? And I heard the other night, or the night before the Elimination Chamber, I was listening to Busted Open, their Elimination Chamber preview show. They said that The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, was going to be there. And I'm like, oh, I wonder what he's going to do. Because he wasn't in the Royal Rumble. He wasn't in the Royal Rumble match. I wonder what's he going to do. By the way, I did not watch any of the Monday Night Raw episodes and the SmackDown episodes in between Royal Rumble and Elimination Chamber. The last thing I watched before the Elimination Chamber was the Royal Rumble, so that was like a month in between. But thanks to the Busted Open Nation podcast, they will give me news throughout the weeks. Okay? So yeah, I am not a huge fan of today's WWE, but I guess I'm partially a fan because of that podcast that I would listen to sometimes. And big matches like this. So Cody Rhodes came out, and then The Rock came out, Dwayne Johnson. See, I'm actually playing it right now as I talk, so that I don't forget anything. And for some reason, what's his name? Let me look him up before I don't want to say his last name incorrect. Okay. Travis Scott. Oh wait, that's not even his real name. I guess a lot of musical artists, they have like their stage name. Just like pro wrestling. You know, they have their own name. So Travis Scott, apparently he was there with The Rock. I don't know why. I don't know how. I guess somehow The Rock invited him. And I asked to myself, wait, why is Travis Scott there? Is he Canadian? Is he from Toronto? Nope. He was born in Houston, Texas. I don't listen to Travis Scott songs, but I just hear the name sometimes. There's certain rappers where I would just hear their names, and that's really about it, and he's one of them, meaning he's a famous rapper. Okay? So I don't know why Travis Scott was there in the first place. I don't know why he got involved. That was like the big question everyone had, like, wait, why is he there with The Rock? That's kind of weird. Man, I'm looking at it. The crowd is on their feet whenever The Rock comes out. You know, he's got the glasses. By the way, he looks great for his age. He actually looks better than John Cena. And The Rock is older than Cena. You know, that's just my opinion. So, and Cody Rhodes, I believe he's 39 or 40. So he's CM Punk a few years younger than Cena. Cody Rhodes a few years younger than Punk, you know? It's interesting. So apparently The Rock, he wants sell Cody Rhodes' soul or whatever that stands for. And like I said, I wasn't watching the the Monday night and Friday night shows in between Royal Rumble and the Elimination Chamber. So I guess I'm technically a part-time fan. You know, years ago I was kind of a full-time fan. I would get locked into it. I'll have to do another episode on how I got into the WWE and why I stopped watching it and how I came back to it. Okay. But what Cody Rhodes said on the mic was pretty crazy. He dropped an F-bomb live on the air, and they did not censor it. They didn't bleep it. He said, "Rock, go F yourself." Whoa. And John Cena's reaction after he said that was pretty funny. So then, Cody Rhodes, John Cena, we're going to shake hands, letting everyone know, all right, this is it. The WrestleMania main event in Las Vegas. Cody Rhodes and John Cena for the WWE Undisputed Championship title. They shook hands, gave each other a hug, and then John Cena stares at The Rock, and then The Rock does this. The throat slash. And the impossible happened. John Cena turns heel by kicking Cody Rhodes in the nuts. OMG. Yeah, that was a OMG moment. It has finally happened. Wow. When I saw that, I'm like, wow. I was actually happy. I was excited. I was really happy. John Cena turns heel for the first time since 2003. Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, that just shows how long he's been a good guy with his his stale character that I don't really like, but I'm not the only one. So, that's why I was happy. Man, and I know this episode is getting longer, that's okay. I'll talk for another, I guess we'll make this like a 45-minute episode, because I want to dive into details and give you what I think might happen, or what should happen after this crazy ending, alright? I never thought, or I should say we, wrestling fans, would never thought we would see this. John Cena turning heel, because it hasn't happened since 2003. This was shocking. This will go down in history. One of the most shocking moments ever. You know? It's kind of hard to put into words because it really happened. It really happened. John Cena kicks Cody Rhodes in the balls, and then he starts beating him up even more. He hits him with the microphone on the head. He hits him with the title on the head, and then he starts bleeding. Then he rips his shirt. Yeah, I'm watching it again as I speak. And, The Rock, Travis Scott, they were just watching. Oh, John Cena strangling Cody Rhodes with his tie. Another thing that I forgot to mention. John Cena also hit, I believe he also hit Cody Rhodes with Dusty Rhodes, his watch. The disrespect. Yes, Dusty Rhodes is Cody's father. He was a professional wrestler from the old days. Way back in the old days. So, yeah, man. And then The Rock beats Cody Rhodes with his big strap belt. That's gotta hurt. Because you can hear it, how loud the smack. He laid the smack down on Cody. That's funny. So wow, John Cena and The Rock on the same page as the bad guys. The two old guys are the bad guys. That's kind of funny. I guess it's what's the best for business, It's time to shake things up. This is a new era. Time to shake things up. So I am glad this happened. And listen, I like Cody Rhodes, but I'm not really a huge Cody Rhodes fan. But I was glad Cody won the title last year. I was happy, but I wasn't going crazy when he won it. I saw that match, if you're wondering. It was time for a new champion anyways. But I was actually happy when John Cena was beating him up. I'm like, yes, beat his ass up. Man, this will go down in the history books. And I think that is why this was the biggest and probably the best Elimination Chamber event of all time. After a shocking thing happened, you want to know what's going to happen next. What's going to happen next? So, because you know how it's usually good guy versus bad guy. Well, Cody has always been a good guy. John Cena has always been a good guy. Well, now we're going to get a good guy versus bad guy. That's great. I like it. It's great. Time to shake things up. So, because this will make it more interesting. The ratings will go even higher because of this heel turn. Right? Yeah. So, yeah, I'm glad it finally happened. But I'm now going to speak for the people that have a problem with this. I'm speaking to the older fans that kind of used to be a fan from the past. Or some say this heel turn happened way too late. Should have happened, 10 to 15 years ago. And I agree. It should have happened many, many years ago. And I'll tell you why it never happened. Vince McMahon is the reason why John Cena won't turn heel when he was in his prime during the early years of the PG era. It's Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon is no longer running the product, which is probably the reason why John Cena turned heel. This heel turn proves that Vince McMahon is no longer running the product. But at the same time, they still could have had John Cena turning heel. In 2010, there was a team called the Nexus. The Nexus, okay? And the Nexus was a villain team. And I was kind of watching that storyline, and it looked like John Cena was going to turn heel and join the Nexus. But that didn't happen. But it would have been perfect. It would have been the ultimate heel turn. I saw a video. They were interviewing him. What's his name? Chris Van Vliet, something like that. Great interviewer. They were saying John Cena was saying he was going to turn heel against The Rock at WrestleMania 28 from 2012. He's going to have like this new gear on, a new hip hop theme song. For some reason, it didn't happen. I mean, that would have been great too if he did it back then. I think Vince McMahon was afraid if John Cena turned heel. I think Vince McMahon was somehow he was gonna be afraid that people would stop watching pro wrestling, the ratings would go down. Because how John Cena was a big attraction for the women and the children when he was in his prime. People would buy his merchandise. Every year he gets different colored t-shirts and hats and all that. I get it. Because, if he were to turn heel, he would have to have a different merchandise, so. This heel turn, the fact that I know it happened way too late, I agree, it should have happened 15 years ago. But the fact that it actually happened was shocking. It's just like when Undertaker's undefeated streak finally came to an end at WrestleMania. No one thought it was going to ever happen, but it finally happened, just like this John Cena heel turn. No one thought it would ever happen, including myself, and then the fact that it actually happened was shocking. It's going to go down as one of the shocking moments in WWE history. But I still think the Hulk Hogan heel turn is still the biggest heel turn and probably the most shocking moment in history. Even though that wasn't in the WWE back then, that was WCW. But then a few years later, that was back in 1996 when Hulk Hogan turned heel for the first time. Then a few years later, that was during the Monday Night Wars era, which I'm currently watching. Yeah, I'm locked into that old stuff on Peacock. Then a few years later, the WWF at the time, they bought WCW. So, yes. This shirt. You see this? If you're watching, New World Order. So, yeah. One of the best times in pro wrestling history. So yeah, the Hulk Hogan heel turn is still number one. Okay? In my opinion. But this John Cena heel turn was huge, man. So I am glad he turned heel, because it's time to shake things up. It would make his storyline against Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania more interesting. It would be. It would be 10 times more interesting. Because now you got good guy versus bad guy. Okay? So I wonder what's going to happen. Will John Cena show up tonight on Monday Night Raw on Netflix, or will he wait for Friday Night SmackDown? Or he might go to both events. Okay. Here is what should happen. After that heel turn, he needs to have a different theme song and a different attire. No more colorful t-shirts, no more colorful hats. He needs to change his look. He can dress up like something The Rock would wear, you know, just wear all black. You know, yeah, just like this, the NWO, New World Order, all black, you know. No more jean shorts. Wear black shorts. And don't wear those white shoes. Those look stupid on you. Okay? Or just come out with no shirt on. Yeah, come out with no shirt on, no hat. What if he comes out in his boxers? Oh my gosh. Or should he see, he was a heel in 2002 and 2003, his early years. His character was called a Doctor of Thugonomics. Should he bring that back? I would like to see that back. We shall see. 'Cause after him turning heel, he should not be wearing those colorful hats and t-shirts and those jean shorts and those white shoes. He needs to wear something completely different, something that the Rock would wear, you know. And yeah. This is crazy. And I saw the post-game show. He was going to do a press conference and he dropped the mic. He didn't say anything. It was finally time for him to turn heel. Finally. Finally. I mean, I get it. If he were to turn heel 15 years ago, all the women and children will be crying, you know. But those kids back then... Okay, so for example, 2010. Let's say the children's 7-year-old. 15 years later, that child is now 22 years old. That child is just as old as me. Yep, most of the children back then are now grown-ups. young adults. Different era. It's time for a change. And this is what they did. It's all because Vince McMahon is no longer running the product. I'm going to listen to Busted Open, hear what the guys have to say, and we'll see if he shows up tonight on Monday Night Raw. If not, then Friday Night SmackDown. So that is the main thing I want to talk about. And I know this episode was kind of long, so I do apologize. But who knows, I might talk more about this. We are on the road to WrestleMania in about a month and a half. So, pro wrestling fans, what do you think? Let me know. And I'll talk more. And maybe we'll get some other sports news throughout the week for Friday. See you next time on KSN. Crazy. Thank you for listening to Keith Sports News.